Good evening. I believe we are live. Let me check and make sure that we are live. If anybody's here, if they could text, yes, we are live. Welcome to this conversation. I'm really, really excited for you to be here, excited to share some of the stuff that I'm going to be sharing with you this evening uh, because we are wrapping up 2021. And I would like to ask all of you, where are you at with what you wanted to accomplish in 21? Okay. Now, we had some incredible opportunities over this last year, and some of us discovered some things about ourselves that we didn't even know was possible. And we also found out of different things within ourselves that um, we could call blindsided, right? And why is that important is because it's your ability to move through these unknown areas in our lives that really sets up the template and the program for you stepping into unknown areas of your life. And in anything that you want to create, right? Like, why are we so fascinated with this thing called achievement, right? Well, we got to look at where that comes from. First of all, what is important to you about achievement? And why is it that you want to create it? And what is it about achievement that you think you will get out of having that happen? Because all of these are questions that really get you looking deeper within yourself. And that's why I wanted to do this. In fact, I'm going to do this one, and then I'm going to do a video for the next 2 nights because I'm putting together a challenge that is going to start Sunday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'm going to do a 5-day challenge called the Switch Challenge. And this whole challenge is around the very thing of learning how to switch on your total badass resourcefulness so that you can create anything that you want to create. Because this is what I do. I mean, and I've worked with lots of people at many different levels of their lives, and there's things that are consistent within everybody wanting to move forward from where they're at to where they want to be. There's patterns everywhere. So the more you are aware of those patterns, the more you will understand that you're on track, right? And it's like a map, right? It's literally like a map. And we can't, I mean, how many things have we tried? Well, unless you get on an airplane, of course. Well, and even then, how many destinations have we been able to go from where we're at to where we want to go in our destination? And it's a straight line. It's not very probable. So it's understanding how to navigate through the areas, because understand the thing you want to achieve, this is really, really important you get this. The very thing you want to achieve is going to require you letting go of aspects of who you are. Because if you weren't hanging on to what keeps you where you're at, you wouldn't be looking outside of yourself to achieve something different. Let me repeat that, because that's really, really important. The reason people want to achieve something is because of where they're at. And in order for them to achieve that, it's going to require them to let go of certain components of who they are that keeps them where they are at currently. First and foremost, the most important aspect of all of this is how judgmental we get about who we are, right? And for most of us, right, this has been my journey, is really looking at how abusive we are to ourselves. Like, really getting in touch with, how do I talk to myself when things don't go the way that I'd hoped that they would turn out, right? Or how do I talk to myself when I'm in the unknown? Or how do I talk to myself when somebody shows up differently than what I thought that they would show up? Because, friends, you can find out a lot about somebody when they don't get their way. You really find out what somebody is made of when they don't get their way, right? And another thing is you can learn a lot by somebody by listening how they talk about other people, because how they talk about other people is a reflection of themselves. And the reflection is revealing how they talk to themselves. And I promise you, you are not going to be an exception to that rule, right? So it's you getting in touch with what it is that you want to create, why you want to create it, what is motivating you to make that a possibility. What are you really connected to? Mr. Dean Hankey, it is good to see you, brother. We got to get you on the show. It's so good to see you. Amazing guy. You got to check out Dean if you haven't checked out Dean's stuff. He's an amazing guy. What do you mean I didn't get my way? Right? Yeah, right. And that's one of the things, what, we've got an ego, we got a child, and we got a higher self. And it's really being able to understand how each one of those interprets the meaning of our experiences. And the more we can get in touch with this, the more intentional we can choose to create what it is that we really want. Because understand, friends, everything that we experience is ran through our interpretation of that experience. And the more we can get in touch with this and look at how is this interpretation serving me, and then what meaning am I attaching to it, it like think about who is the authority in your life, right? Like who is really the authority in your life? And why this is an important question is because what creates our beliefs is authority, intensity, and repetition, right? And most of what we believe in our life is actually secondary learning, which means somebody else taught it to us. And most people, we've all heard the story of the mother that was cutting the ends off of a ham before sticking it in a pan. We just take on beliefs that have been handed down through our family and through our community and our culture and our world. And we don't ever even think about what it is that we're taking on, right? And that's secondhand learning. Firsthand learning is through experience, right? Like somebody says, don't touch the stove, don't touch the stove, don't touch the stove. That's secondhand learning until we put our hands on that stove and go, oh, that's hot, right? But then what our ego does is it takes pain and associates the very same thing with it. So you have a bad relationship with somebody intimately, and all of a sudden all men are bad, or all women are bad, or all blondes are bad, whatever, right? And we've got to learn how to break up the patterns and the constructs that we come up with to protect ourselves. We weren't put on this planet. We did not come into this planet to spend our lives protecting ourselves from getting hurt. That I got a PhD in that one. Okay. We weren't put here to protect ourselves from getting hurt. We were put here to live and live in abundance and live in freedom and live in choice. Right. But we weren't ever taught how to do that. And that's why I've watched so much happen over these last 2 years, watching people go through amazing experiences, right? And like I just lost my dog here 2 months ago. And it was tough. I mean, it's just like my whole life has been nuked in every area of my life in the last year. And it's been created lots of opportunities, created lots of growth, and created experiences and wisdoms that I had not had before any of that. I went through any of that stuff. And that's why I'm excited to share with you this 5-day challenge that I'm going to be starting. And you can access it by going to the potentialzonegroup.com or going to the switch challenge, whatever one. I'm going to be doing it in the Potential Zone Group.com. It's my exclusive Facebook group. And yeah. And Dean's an amazing guy. So we'll have him on the show. And by the way, with that said, is within the Potential Zone, it's an environment where infinite possibilities thrive. And I'm going to bring incredible thought leaders in, like Dean himself. And I've got a lot of other friends and colleagues that are going to be bringing incredible content into that, because friends, understand your environment is stronger than your willpower. And if you don't think your environment's impacting you, I would encourage you to reconsider that, because we are homeostasis, which means we want to balance out. And if our environment is not aligned with what we want to create, you're going to have to work harder. You're going to have to expand higher and vibrate higher than your environment does, which is going to require a whole lot more work on your part. This is why it is so important to have an environment that is conducive, aligned, and supportive of whatever it is that you want to create. Just like, I mean, Dean, I'm so glad you're here, because there's so many things where you talk to big thinkers, like people that know how to make stuff happen. They talk a whole different language, right? Like people that haven't fulfilled their dreams or are full of regret and guilt and remorse and pain and hurt and all that stuff. I got a PhD in all those. I'm speaking from experience. They will not support somebody else that wants to make great things happen, right? Because they need to make sense of their own reality. So that's why it's important to have to be aligned with people that really want to support you and understand the journey. That's why I say you speak with people that, a good old boy of mine, Andy Murphy. He powered up coach. And, you have conversations with him, and it's a much different conversation. It's all about possibility. It's all about what can you create? It's all about how can you expand, right? But when you're talking with somebody that doesn't want to look at who they are and confront what it is that holds them back, all they want to do is be a naysayer. They have to be a vacuum, right? That's how darkness works. And that's going to be a whole other conversation, by the way. So what we want to talk about is why achievement is not what it is. I mean, achievement is there's people get something out of setting goals and not achieving them, right? And until we look at how doing this strategy is serving you, you're just going to keep doing it, right? And for most people, again, from my own personal experience, I set up goals, unattainable goals, so that I could convince myself that I was never going to amount to anything, right? And your ego is looking for all of the evidence that confirms what it is that you really believe, right? And for you to look at, I have to achieve this, but you don't understand what is really motivating you, right? You've all heard the make a why that makes you cry. That's part of it. Okay. What I do with my clients is I teach them a whole other strategy that's way, 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 way deeper than a why. But it's understanding that, friends, you literally are way more capable of what you think you are. And to prove this, for those of you who have children, if your child's life depended on you making your dreams a reality, or it would take your child's life and you had to do it within a certain amount of time, then you would not be focusing on your excuses. Wouldn't be focusing on excuses. You would be focusing on saving your child's life. Okay. Thanks, Dina. I appreciate that. Yeah, the potentialzonegroup.com. Thank you for putting that in there. Because this is so important to understand. It's not that we are unresourceful. It's that we allow ourselves to get into lower vibrations. And when we are in lower vibrations, this is what happens. When we're in lower vibrations, we want to take. We are in a place of survival, right? And what we do is we want to take from the environment in order for us to feel like we're grasping, right? Like you go to the grocery store when you're hungry, right? I just had this happen last week, right? I know, don't go to the grocery store hungry. I went to the grocery store hungry. I did okay. I bought a couple things that I really didn't necessarily need, but my appetite was way bigger than what I was possible of making happen because my body is in survival, right? Your biology takes over when you're in these lower vibrations. So when you're in higher vibrations, you see opportunity that is like abundant. You're in a place of creation. You're at the bottom of the scale is that you're in desperation and survival. At the top of it, you're in creation and you're in abundance, right? And you're able to make things come from out of you. So this is why I want to ask all of you, what is it that you want to achieve? And then really looking at what is important to you about that. And then what is it about you that you value about it? And then looking beyond that and going, okay, what am I committed to in what I value and what's important about this? So what, and this is why I use the metaphor of your child, is because with your child, you value your child's life. You value your child's life more than you value hanging on to the excuses that keep you from achieving what it is that you want to make happen. Right. And so when you're looking at what you value, it really determines the decisions that you make. But see, I want to say something on this, is because decision literally means you have to cut something off, right? Like you're putting something away. It's like decide, like genocide, or decision, like incision, right? You're cutting something off. But when you come from choice, you're creating, right? Like you're like, it's infinite possibilities, right? And so looking at a problems are finite, right? There's only so much to a problem, but there's infinite amount of solutions to that problem, right? So it's you being able to step in a place of creation and understanding that you are source. Source moves through you, whatever that means to you, right? And the more that you can get all the things out of the way that keep you from experiencing that, the more you're going to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. But moving through this, we find out what we are committed to. Like we don't get what we want. We get what we're committed to. We don't get what we want. We get what we are committed to, right? But most of our commitments are unconscious programs that are playing, that have been conditioned through lines and lines and lines of family and culture and all different kinds of things like that. And understanding that at any time we can choose something different. And when we choose something different, what we believe, it starts changing our perception and activates all kinds of possibilities, right? So really looking at what is it that you want to achieve, what's important to you about that, what do you value about that, and then looking at what it is that you're committed to. Because and just those 4 questions right there radically can change your life. Just really being with them. And friends, the thing that I have found more than anything, this is going to be a hard truth. It just is. I'm just warning you, is that polarity necessary to grow up. Yeah, but it's still cutting. Yeah, cutting away to create more growth. Yeah. Polarity. phonetics is not my thing, Dean. Sorry. Necessary for girls, but it's still cutting. Yeah. Is that in order for us to really find out what is going on subconsciously, unconsciously, consciously, all of this, is that we have to learn this one skill. And this is the one skill that is the game changer for everything. And see, understand to develop this skill, there's lots of things that you're going to have to let go of, right? And this one skill is living a life that demands rigorous honesty, right? But what happens is our ego doesn't want to go away. So our ego will create these narratives that we're able to literally convince ourselves to believe something that it's not true, right? But the more that we can look at the feedback of our life and look at it neutral, the more we're going to be able to make course correction. But see, most people are more concerned about being right, which is ego, right? Because they haven't got in touch. Oh, pruning. Thank you. Makes much more sense. Yes. Thank you, Dean. When we want to be right, what that covers up is the wound of what it meant to be wrong, right? Like I had an experience when I was in kindergarten. Never forget it, right? Is that I was asked to pronounce A. Didn't understand the question, but I was the first one. And so I said apple, right? And I didn't understand she wanted me to enunciate the letter A. So I just said apple. The whole class laughed at me. From that moment on, most of my life, I was terrified to be asked a question in public, in school, because what it did is it kept accessing that nervous, that emotion that I experienced when I was a child. But see, most people won't get in touch with themselves like this because that's why they call it the shadow, right? They don't understand what is really running their lives, right? And then so they make these decisions to go out there and create things and be an entrepreneur or speaker, whatever it is, but they don't understand it's the operating system that's off. And you can put any software you want on top of that operating system, but if your operating system is not aligned and congruent with who you truly are and what you truly want to create, I don't care what program you put on top of it, it's not going to operate optimally, right? So it's really, really important for you to be able to get in touch with what is really running your programs within your life. It's like I tell people this all the time, 75% of what you know in your entire life was by the age of 5, right? And we didn't have the conscious ability to determine stuff. So what I've done is I've come up with a new method. Like I said, I just finished, if you've been watching my videos, I just finished up a Program for Prosperity. Just finished up a 12-week, actually 13-week group coaching with a partner and I, and incredible, amazing transformations, people's takeaways. It was an incredible experience. And so now what I'm Oh, there we go. Sorry, I don't know if it went unmuted. Hello, Facebook user. I don't know who you are, so you have to click on the StreamYard thing so I can see what your username is. But welcome. Thank you. Glad you're here. So what I've done is I've created a 5-day challenge that I want to take people through because, again, I want to do everything I can to support people. And I am creating a movement of potentializers, right? A potentializer is somebody that understands what it takes to actualize whatever is possible, right? They know they have the bandwidth, they have the tools to really be able to step into their greatness, to their superhuman ability, and be able to create anything that they want, to be able to choose from a place of power rather than from their wounds, right? That's a potentializer. It's just like really owning who they are and showing up completely authentic and being able to create the life in all areas of their life that they want. So I want to bring as many people as I can into this environment. So I'm putting together a 5-day challenge called the Switch Challenge. This has been in the making for over 10 years. And I had a 30-day challenge, 30-day Switch Challenge, and I have condensed it into 5. And so I'm going to be starting that Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time this coming Sunday. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take you through my AAA method. And the AAA method is nothing more than you learning how to activate what your superhuman ability really is, right? Your ability, and I'm just going to tell you, I got triggered by something yesterday because when it's not people that fight, it's levels of understanding that fight. It's levels of understanding that argue, right? Just like you have arguments with your parents because your parents were raised in a much different world than you are, right? Like You have arguments with your siblings because your siblings were raised by a different set of parents. That doesn't mean physically, but understand every time you put somebody different in an environment, it changes the entire environment, right? So it's levels of understanding that causes conflict. And see, I was listening to this guy and he is stuck in the level of consciousness of reasoning, right? Reasoning does not understand love, right? It's just not there. But I'm watching this person. And another thing that I study a lot is seduction. I study influence because I don't know if it's a proverb or what it is, but it says if evil will prevail until good people do something, right? Well, I want to be one of those good people. And I seen what Hitler did with his ability to influence people. He almost took over this world. But see, thank goodness, like really, thank God this happened, is what was the demise, one of the beginning of the demises of Hitler was that he would not take negative feedback, right? So it's yeah, it is for sure, Dean. Thank you. Yeah, and the heart is love, right? They're totally disconnected from one another. And yeah, that's a whole other conversation in itself. But understanding that Hitler would execute anybody that brought him negative news. Very unbalanced feedback, right? And most people don't know how to take feedback. But the reason I'm sharing this with you is Hitler knew how to influence people. And this is back when the radio was out and that was the only media that people paid attention to. And so he was able to influence people, innocent people. He was able to he was able to influence innocent people to take the lives of other innocent people. That's the power of influence. That's the power of authority. And I would encourage all of you to watch the movie Experimenter. It's actually a documentary. It's a movie about a documentary or a case study that was done about the power of influence or authority. And think of the word authority, right? The first part of that word is author, right? And see, what we do is we give authorship to people that we think are an authority, right? You're the authority of your life, right? So the more you can understand who you are, what makes you understand. Okay, can everybody hear me? Okay, I'll just remove this. All right, I just got a message. Boom. Okay, cool. We're good. I hope I'm still here. Save changes. All right. Whatever. I got an error come up. Is your ability to understand what is really running your inner world, right? And it's really, yeah, feedback is everything. Feedback is everything. If you're not getting authentic feedback, you have tons of blind spots, right? And the other part is most people see this is the game changer, friends. This goes back to what I said, live a life that demands rigorous honesty. See, I had to start this journey because my life depended on it, right? Like I was drinking, drugging, crashing things, almost killed my sister, like destroying everything in my path because I hated myself, right? And I recognized, there was a moment that I recognized is that if I keep living this way, someone's going to eventually die. And if it's not me, then that would be horrible. Like I had friends that went to prison for drunk driving and killing little girls, and like that's what I grew up in. And I had to really start getting honest with myself at the level that my life depended on it. And when you make that kind of commitment to yourself of like, how am I, excuse the expression, but how am I bullshitting myself? Like really looking at how is my ego running my life? How aligned am I? Where am I suffering? Where am I not happy? What conversations am I not having? What am I afraid of? What do I have anxiety around? All of these questions start giving you the ability to start looking at what is, if your inner world is not aligned with your outer world, you're going to suffer. That's just straight up fact, right? So looking at the feedback of your life and your world is really, really important. But see, most people don't know how to take feedback because it's not the feedback that is painful. It is your interpretation of the feedback that you make painful. Because feedback's just neutral, right? But if a lot of people are saying it, there's probably a good probability that there's some truth to it, right? But feedback, and this is what I had to learn when I went and got my Bachelor in Fine Arts and Architecture School. They annihilated us because they wanted to train us how to take feedback, right? And so influence and feedback are really, really important. If you don't understand influence, it's being used on you, right? So there's some things that I really want to bring to this 5-day challenge that are going to open up incredible possibilities for you, right? It's absolutely no charge. It's 5 days. You stay through the whole 5 days. At the end of it, I got lots of gifts for you. But what the three A's are, to switch, the switch challenge is based on the triple A. It's activate, align, and apply, right? So learning how to activate your superhuman ability, and learning how to take agency, which is your ability to choose, your ability to stand in truly who your power is, and not be so influenced by the outer world. How many decisions in your life do you not make or want to make because it's going to impact how people see you? I mean, it's hello. I mean, and see, looking at who is really running your life, like really spend some time with that question. Who is really running your life, and how much? And see, when we're in that place, that's one of those moments where we can go, okay, what do I really value? Do I value making a decision that's aligned with me, or do I value being accepted by my peers? Right. And then looking at, what am I committed to? Am I committed to living my life for other people that don't spend 2 minutes more thinking about me? Or am I committed to me doing everything I can to create the life that I want? Friends, this is so obvious and so simple, but yet it's one of the most challenging things within our lives. The most important relationship in your life, the most important relationship in your life is you. You are the only person you spend every moment of your life with. I mean, I really want you to think about that. You are the only person you spend every moment of your life with, and yet how much energy do we spend worrying about what other people think of us? And see, and again, it's not what they think of us, it's our interpretation of that and the meaning that we attach to it, right? So that's what this challenge is all about. It's really to teach you how to activate your superhuman ability, how to raise into higher vibrations, how to understand what polarity is so that you can operate at wherever you need to operate, like being agile and being able to pivot when you need to be able to pivot, because we have all kinds of programs. It's like inertia, right? And that inertia will keep accessing that inertia, which is an object that is at rest will continue to stay at rest unless an external force acts upon it, right? And sometimes that is catastrophic when that happens, right? Like most people, just like me, waited until I was in a car accident when I almost took my life and my sister's life. It was more that I almost took my sister's life that began to wake me up, right? That just started the journey of where I'm at today, right? Prior to that, I didn't want to live to be 25 years of age, right? But I had to start looking at, how did I create that in my life, right? So you don't have to wait until you get a 5 bypass surgery, heart attack that requires a 5 bypass surgery in order for you to start looking at your diet and how you treat your body. You don't have to wait for that. You don't have to wait for a divorce. You don't have to wait until you get fired because you're in a job that you don't care for. You can choose to change that at any time, right? And see, one of my favorite Rush songs is the lyrics in it. It says, "We pay the price, but we don't count the cost." And see, it's the cost that siphons out our agency, and we don't even recognize that we are having it happen, right? So this is what we're going to go over in this 5-day challenge, okay? And then alignment, right? If you don't know what's aligned with you, you are burning up tons of energy, being overwhelmed, confused, inconsistent, out of integrity, and you're making a lot of decisions from desperation and survival, right? Because you're burning up so much energy in confusion, right? And overwhelm and burnout. All these things that we do are out of alignment with who we truly are. You go to a job, I mean, most people never inventory this, right? Again, live a life that demands rigorous honesty, right? Like you going to a job that doesn't like set your soul on fire is killing you, is killing you, right? But see, we don't want to make the choices because we're afraid of what stepping out into the uncomfortable means. Because when we step out into the unfamiliar, what we access is infant programs, right? So it's being able to figure out what strategies that you really need to support you in whatever it is that you want to create, right? So that's what we're going to go over in these 5-day challenge. Okay. This is going to be really huge. And then the last part of it is apply, right? Behavior is just the output of the internal program, right? Your behavior is perfectly designed to do what it does, right? Your behavior is an adaptation. It's just the output. It's the analog of the digital, which is your inner world, right? So you start changing the internal programs, voila, you start understanding you can create your life by design, and you can start creating massive changes in your life, and you start living more intentional and living from choice rather than reacting, right? It's powerful, my friend. So really, really look forward to seeing you there. It starts Sunday night. You can go to the challenge. Sorry, I forgot the domain. It's theswitchchallenge.com, theswitchchallenge.com, and it's going to be in the group, thepotentialzonegroup.com. So Dean, it's so great to see you. Yeah, how it influences everything. You are being influenced all the time. And if you don't have the awareness of how it's being used, see, I'll just drop this before we leave. Dean is a magician, and this is why I want to have him on the show, is understanding effective seduction is not recognized. Effective seduction is not recognized. Magic, effective magic, isn't recognized in how it is created, right? So that's why it is so important. I was watching this famous astrophysicist saying stuff that was like, oh my gosh, somebody that doesn't have the ability to understand how someone uses linguistics, I could see totally switching everything that they believe about God, totally switching everything about that, right? Just because somebody has $3 words. I'm not a big $3 word person. I like to be able to communicate with as many people as possible. As I started this whole thing, phonics has not been my thing, right? But understanding how it's used with people, you can get drawn into it's tell you vision, right? It's media, which is the goddess of illusion. It's programs, it's channels. Start looking at how things are labeled, right? Start looking at how much the advertisements are. What percentage of the advertisements are to keep people asleep? Just take a pill. It's all good, right? I hope they don't ban this off Facebook because I just said that. But understanding if they can control your perception, they can control your behavior, right? So friends, that's what this challenge is all about, is to support you and you stepping into your agency so that you can create the life that you really want to create. That's what this is all about. I'm gifting it to you. You'll want to stay through the whole thing, because at the very end, I'm going to be making some incredible gifts available, right? This is my life's work. It's 10 years, have been 10 years in the making. Like I said, it was going to be a 30-day one. I've condensed it down to 5 and just bringing powerful nuggets. It starts Sunday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in thepotentialzonegroup.com, or you can go to theswitchchallenge.com. And I'll see you over there. Dean, it's great to see you, my brother. When is it? It is starting Sunday. It'll be every night from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can go to the Potential Zone group, join that group. It's my exclusive Facebook group, or you just go to the switchchallenge.com, and that will take you to the group, and that's where we will have it. And if you got any questions, just ask them in there. We're posting lots of information. Yes, it's going to start this Sunday. We're posting lots of information about it in the next couple of days. So look forward to seeing everybody there. And until then, my friend, as always, live like your life depends on it, because it does. Be blessed. Much love. I appreciate you spending your time with me. Your time is very, very important, and I value you spending your time with me. It's an honor. And I will talk to you soon. Take care.